We only use equipment you can count on too, like a train comfort system. It's hard to stop a train. Delcor can have a new train comfort system installed in no time, or we can provide an AC tune-up to make sure your system is performing well. So will your system keep you cool all summer? Find out. Call us. We're Delcor, the service professionals. Reliable for over 4 decades. Visit DelcorInc.com today.
Did you know the Red Cross provides about 40% of our nation's blood and blood components, all from generous volunteer donors? But supply can't always meet demand because only about 3% of age-eligible people donate blood yearly. This is Paul Russell from F3 inviting you to join us for our Free to Bleed blood drive on Friday, October 23rd from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Drew Steele Center on Elm Street. Help save a life by scheduling an appointment at redcrossblood.org or stop by the Drew Steele Center Friday, October 23rd from 11 to 4.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Tom Brown from Brown & Wood Buick GMC Truck. We've been serving the Pirate Nation in Eastern North Carolina for 83 years. We have 4 brands, 3 generations, 2 showrooms, and 1 goal to make sure you leave a happy customer.
This month at Brown & Wood, get an all-new 2020 GMC Sierra and save over $10,000 off. As always, Brown & Wood is the home of the lifetime warranty.
We're located on Greenville Boulevard next to the Convention Center, or shop us online at brownandwoodauto.com.
In studio with Gloria from Kinetic Physical Therapy. What kind of wellness services do you guys offer?
We have massage therapy with your choice of either a relaxation massage, a therapeutic stretching session, or a prenatal massage. We have foot reflexology. We partner with Pirate Cryo for cryotherapy, also known as cold therapy, and we have health and wellness coaching. And if you're interested in holistic body therapy and saving money, we encourage you to check out our wellness membership plan where you can have all of our wellness services at a constant discounted price. You can learn more today at kptonline.com.
Let us help you get back to business.
This is Donald Stocks
And Justin Judge of PIP of Eastern North Carolina.
We're ready to assist your business with branded PPE. Would you like face masks with your logo? We can do that. Plus custom social distancing signage.
Now is the time to ramp up your marketing efforts. Whether it's cutting edge, contactless, touchless marketing, or traditional direct mail, we can do it all.
We are PIP of Eastern North Carolina.
If you missed Pirate Radio Live, you missed.
Troy and I might say at this hour,
must win.
I mean,
if you want to have a
500 winning season,
yes, you've got to get this one. If you don't get this one, I don't see how the Pirates get a 500 win.
No,
season.
And again, it's not like they're going to go winless if they lose this game. Right. They can win a few games, but if you want a successful season, 500 or better, you got to beat Georgia State on Saturday.
Agree 100%.
Pirate Radio Live, weekdays from 3 to 6, right here on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. This is Eastern North Carolina's longest-running sports radio call-in show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show on Pirate Radio is brought to you by
Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Angus Grill, Gavigan Insurance, BMS Builders, The Rick House, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft and Hagler, and by Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Good Monday, everybody, and welcome into our show as we get you set on a Monday for East Carolina Pirate football. The Pirates go on the road this coming week to take on the Bulls of USF after falling 49-29 to Georgia State. So we kick off our Monday, and we've got Darrell Sims, who is the running back coach at East Carolina from his office over at ECU. And, Coach, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you for having me.
When you look at the past game against Georgia State, and you guys, you had such promise running the football against UCF, they really clogged up the lanes. Georgia State did, didn't they?
Yes, sir. They did. They did a good job against us defensively on Saturday, and we tip our hats off to those guys.
When you look at trying to get this running game going, what's the thing you're going to work on when you guys get back to practice tomorrow as far as moving forward and trying to open up those? Because we know that Mike Houston loves to run the football. We know what you guys did at James Madison, and that's the Mike Houston way, and it's going to happen here at some point. But it's got to be like growing pains right now, isn't it?
You know what it is right now. You know, the number one deal for us is just to come back out here tomorrow and, you know, the number one deal, just get better at the fundamentals. And that's the number one deal. And our guys have a phenomenal attitude in terms of coming out to practice every day and working hard. And, you know, the biggest thing for us right now is to keep taking, you know, steps forward in a positive direction, and we're going to do that. You know, and the best thing about it is, you know, when you've been with this coaching staff as long as we've been together, we kind of know the answers to the problems. So the number one deal for us is just go back to fundamentals and just keep chipping away. And we're going to end up breaking a few big runs here soon.
You know, I talked to Coach Houston earlier today, and he said the same thing, that a lot of the breakdowns, especially on the offensive line, you know, were fundamental type things and things that you can see on film and you can correct. Did you see the same thing on film?
You know what? Every single situation that we had on film is things that can be correctable.
Yeah.
And it may be, and especially from my group, you know, from a fundamental standpoint, you know, making sure our eyes are in the right spot, making sure our footwork is matching up with the offensive line's footwork. It's so many little bitty details that a lot of people take for granted when they just watch the game from television. You know, the offensive line and the running back has to be in sync together. And a lot of times, you know, especially from being a running back, we try to press and make things happen so much. The number one deal is we just always want to be in sync with the offensive line. That's the number one deal that we'll continue to work on and get back to tomorrow.
You know, in doing the research for today's show, I was looking at, I didn't realize that last year at East Carolina, the best single-season rushing mark since 2014 last year for East Carolina. So obviously you got some improvement there. And really, you know, it is the Mike Houston way to run the football, isn't it, Coach?
Yes, sir. No doubt about it. I think, you know, if you look at Coach's track record and everywhere he's been, when you're able to run the football, those are the teams that are able to go out and win a lot of games and win championships. You know, when you're able to run the football, you're able to set up so many different things from your offensive standpoint, whether it's throwing the ball down the field, the play-action game. And then at the same point in time, you know, when you're able to get downhill on people and run the football, you take away a team's willpower. And that's what's made us successful everywhere that we've been, and that's what's going to make us successful here.
You know, one of the bright spots, obviously, from Saturday, the play of the special teams, and in talking to some of the coaches, it's kind of a combination. People kind of just, you know, on the staff put their own thoughts in with special teams and that kind of thing. But that was really neat to see when you fake that field goal and Tyler Snead runs for the touchdown, and then you get the block punt.
That was phenomenal. You know, our special team coordinator, Coach Thweet, does a phenomenal job with our units. And, you know, it's a collective effort as a coaching staff. So, you know, seeing those two big plays on special teams are always game changers for us. And, you know, we put a heavy emphasis on special teams as a coaching staff. So seeing the kids thrive in those situations was phenomenal.
Is that one of the things you're working at right now, is to not only change some of the fundamentals, but to really get some kids some confidence? Because if a blocker is not confident or a running back is not confident, then that goes a long way. So you've got to get those guys, A, you know, understanding the fundamentals, and B, really being confident at what they do.
No doubt about it. I think, you know, it comes with anything. You know, when you got confidence in yourself, you know, you can tend to play better and better as it goes along. And you know, the more plays that we continue to make, the more confident our guys are going to get. You know, we got a confident bunch anyway. The thing about our guys in our locker room is that they are phenomenal in terms of going out here competing, and they believe in themselves and they believe in each other. And I think the more, like you saw on Saturday when we had that block punt, the sideline erupted. When we had the fake field goal, the sideline erupted. You know, these guys believe in each other and pull for one another, and that's the thing that's so phenomenal right now for us, is we got a locker room that cares about each other. They want to win really, really bad, and they're working their tails off to do that, but the love and the care that they have for one another is something special.
East Carolina running back coach Darrell Sims is our guest on this Monday. We'll take our first commercial break. We'll come back. We'll break down a preview of South Florida that we're going to see defensively coming up this weekend, and talk more about those running backs with Coach Sims. That's coming up after this.
First came the PCC location, then came the ECU location on Jarvis Street. Now introducing the newest store at 10th Street at the Food Line near Walmart. It's Angus Grill 3. 3 restaurants featuring all of your burgers and more. They've got your classic Angus, steak burger, brisket burger, black and blue burger, sweet sriracha burger, jalapeno popper burger. You get the idea. Now with 3 options for the best burger in town. Angus Grill at PCC, Angus Grill at ECU, and now Angus Grill at 10th Street in the Food Line Shopping Center. It's Greenville's best burger, times 3.
Hi, this is Luke Kuechly. Last season, I was captain on defense. This season, since so many of us will be watching football from home, I'm football watching with Pepsi. And you know me, I pour everything I've got into it. All right, football watchers, let's do this. Opening click-offs. Here we go. Click on, click off. Click on, click off. Stretch that thumb. You can't have finger fatigue bringing you down in the postseason. Nice job. And my favorite, second half sip-offs. Pepsi's up, lift, pull, open. Ice cold Pepsi and watching football. Nothing better.
It's not game day without a delicious, refreshing Pepsi, the official soft drink of the National Football League. Head to your nearest retailer, grab your Pepsi before kickoff, then sit back, relax, and cheer on your favorite team. Pepsi, made for football watching.
At Tiebreakers, we pride ourselves on serving
big, juicy wings.
I'm talking
big and juicy.
Our chickens are the same ones that kick sand in the other chickens' faces. If our chickens played football, they'd be linebackers. The competition's chickens, they'd be
skinny little kickers.
Trade those kickers in for linebackers.
Tiebreakers is open every day at 11 a.m. Follow Tiebreakers on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates.
Register for Army ROTC to be a leader and an officer in the U.S. Army, Army Reserve, or Army National Guard. You could also be eligible for a full tuition scholarship. Lead the team that makes a difference. To learn more, contact Dale Anderson at 252-622-5346 or Anderson, DAL, at ECU.edu. Paid for by the United States Army.
Great food, great atmosphere, and great service is Ottavola Market Cafe. Ottavola is simply a restaurant that focuses on that, being a great restaurant. There's something for everyone at Ottavola. The menu offers a variety of great choices like pastas, pizzas, sandwiches, soups, salads, and seasonal rotating selections. Lunch or dinner, Ottavola is always the right call. Call ahead and get Ottavola to go, or stop by the bar for a drink with friends. It's simple. Come and eat at Ottavola Market Cafe, Red Banks Road next to Food Lion, and OttavolaMarket.com. Ottavola, pirates supporting pirates.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back to our show. So glad you're with us on this Monday. The Pirates get set to take on South Florida. 7 o'clock kickoff from Raymond James Stadium down in Tampa coming up this Saturday. Darrell Sims is the running back coach at East Carolina under Mike Houston, and he joins us to talk about the South Florida game, kind of give us a preview. And one of the things we get a chance to do, Coach, when we have you guys on is to get to know you a little bit better. So I jotted some notes down. I want you to talk about some of your personal life, a bachelor's degree in history and political science from Pikeville, an NAIA school. What was that like going to school at Pikeville?
It was a little bit different. I'm born and raised from South Carolina, so I'm from we call it the Piedmont area. It's flat land, but going to Eastern Kentucky where it's coal mining country, it was cold, and it was, my first time kind of being, in a state that was blue in terms of Kentucky Wildcat blue, coming from growing up in Clemson Tigers and South Carolina Gamecock country, and so it was different. But it was a really good experience with really good people, and I'm fortunate and blessed to be able to have that opportunity to graduate from Pikeville and make a lot of lifelong friendships there as well. So it jump-started my coaching career there as well. So it was a really good opportunity for me.
Yeah, I would think a person in your position with a degree in history and political science really has to be beneficial to you in this day and age with everything that's going on, off the field. Does that help with things you have to deal with?
You know what it does? It gives you a broad spectrum in terms of being able to look at things from a bigger picture standpoint. So that having that degree, it does help me out a lot from seeing both sides.
Yeah, I don't want to talk politics, obviously, because that's just not my forte. But I would think that with everything these young student athletes are going through, and with all the things that's going on in our world and everything, that I would think Coach Houston probably comes to you for advice on some things, wouldn't he?
You know what? He comes to us as a whole collective coaching staff.
Yeah.
He doesn't just come to one single coach. He comes to the whole coaching staff. That's the best thing about being here is any issue that we have, he always brings it up to the full staff, and we sit down and we have open dialogue about it. So everybody's voice here they have a strong voice here, and their opinion matters, and Coach Houston listens to everybody. So the best part about it is we always talk about it as a family together, and always come to a solution together.
Coach Sims also a member of the American Football Coaches Association's prestigious 35 under 35 Coaches Leadership Institute. Tell us about that a little bit, Coach.
That was a really good opportunity that I had a chance to be a part of 2 years ago. It's one of those situations where you're always trying to grow and learn and get better, and you want to get better from your peers. And, the number one deal, anytime you're in a profession, you're always seeking growth. And anytime you can be around a bunch of coaches that all are striving to do the same things and get better, not just competing with each other on the field, which, is 12 Saturdays in a year that you're outside competing against each other. But when you got an opportunity to learn and grow from one another, it's good. And it gives you an opportunity, like being in the 35 under 35, you learn about things that you necessarily don't know all the time from being an assistant coach, in terms of you have dreams, goals, and aspirations of wanting to be a head coach or wanting to be a coordinator, and they talk to you about, from a budget management standpoint, how do you need to go about when you're hiring a coaching staff, when you become a head coach, because a lot of people had a dream to sit in that big chair, but not until you get in that chair you realize it's a very lonely chair, and you really don't know what to do once you get in there if it's your first time sitting there. So it was an opportunity for me to take a lot of notes and to learn and continue to get better.
So that's the ultimate goal for Coach Sims down the road, you hope, to be a head coach?
You know what? If God puts that in the cards for me to be a head coach at some point in time, I'll be happy with that. If he puts it in the cards for me just to be the best running back coach that I can be, then I'll be happy from that standpoint as well. But I always work hard every day to be the best running back coach that I can here for East Carolina University. And you always growing and learning, and that was the number one deal that drew me to working with Coach Houston. That having to compete against him from my time in the South Atlantic Conference and also the Southern Conference. I understood his track record, and he had been a winner everywhere that he had been. And the number one deal that you learn as a young assistant coach is attach yourself to winners. So I made sure that I was able to attach myself to him and, to learn from him. And that's the number one deal is how to build a team, how to build a coaching staff, and, how to flip programs and how to turn programs around that may have been on hard times before and turn them into championship programs.
What's it like in that offensive staff room when you've got Donnie Kirkpatrick, who's one of our favorites, you got Coach Shank, another one of our favorites? I mean, you've got guys that I've had a chance to work with for a long, long time, and that's got to mean something to you as a young coach.
It does. You got an opportunity to sit in a room with guys that's been in the business for a long time and have seen things from a lot of different angles, and that's had a ton of success from offensive football. So it's good. It's always lighthearted because DK always got a funny joke to tell all the time. So it is always good. And anytime you get a chance to work with good people, it's not like you're going to work every day. It's just like you're doing your hobby and you're having fun. So it's always good being in that room.
Break it down for us a little bit, because obviously you guys did struggle running the football against Georgia State, but when you guys get back together as a staff, do you look at different parts in the film and come up with ideas that, hey, maybe we could run the ball better if we do it this way other than that way, and take us through what all the mindset is when you guys discuss everything?
What we do when we get back together after a game is we always go through and watch the game together as an offensive staff. And you start to analyze every single play. And what you figure out is not necessarily the scheme. It may be one little tweak here or there that you can change, or one little assignment that you can change to always make a play better. A lot of times, when you sit up here and you have a game and you're not able to throw the football or you're not able to run the football, a lot of times people always say, well, that just sucked, just throw it out. It's not necessarily that.
Right.
On film, it's never as bad as it looks at times, and it's never as good as it looks at times. So the number one deal, you always look from a fundamental standpoint first, then you go to the schematic standpoint. And we're always going to put our kids in the best situations to have success. So, we always, in the same situation in the offensive staff room, is open dialogue. Everybody's idea is a good idea, and then we'll always come together and decide, okay, this is the play that we're going to use this week. This is not the play that we're going to use this week. But it's a really good situation because everybody brings good ideas to the table.
And again, when you guys were at James Madison, 2016 to 18, you were on the staff, the team 4th nationally in rushing touchdowns, 6th nationally in rushing yards, 13th in rushing yards per game. This is an offense built around the running game, and that's going to open up the pass. I know there are some coaching philosophies that say sometimes you have to throw the football around the barnyard to open up the running game, but really this is a coaching staff and a philosophy to run the ball downhill and to get out, and I think that's probably what Coach Houston's probably most frustrated with, and I'm sure you are, I'm sure Donnie is, that right now it's just not working that way. But as you said, when you look on the tape, there are little things that you can change, and maybe that changes. Can that change in a week?
Oh no, it definitely can. You know, it's always a situation to where, you know, you always gonna be your own worst critic, and those are the situations that every single day that we go out here to practice, we're always striving to be the best that we can. And I feel like we're gonna have a really good week this week, and continue to push forward. And you know, this thing is gonna turn very, very quickly here, because we got hard-working kids, we got hard-working coaches. We're just gonna continue to put our best foot forward and keep going to work.
And if fans remember last year, it seemed like the light kind of went off, you know, around the mid-season mark last year, where all of a sudden the offense just started clicking and everything worked, didn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. You know, we had a really good success towards the midpoint of last season, and you know, it always takes time. You know, getting guys to gel together and continue to have everything clicking. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, so every single day that you go to work is always something that you got to fix, and sure, we're gonna get it fixed.
And we're not looking at excuses. I know that's not the Mike Houston way, not the Darrell Sims way, or anything like that. But when you look back at not having a spring and not having the summer conditioning, and it's been such a different type of year, hasn't it?
It has. It definitely has. I mean, me and my wife had a baby in July, and you go through not being able to go to prenatal classes and things like that. It's totally different. So this whole 2020 has been one for the ages. I can tell you that much.
What was it like having a baby during COVID?
Well, it was. Let's see. She had to go to the doctors by herself, so I only go. I went to the major doctor's appointments. I tell you that before the COVID shut down, I was able to go to the major appointments, and then I was able to be in the room when she had a baby. So that was different, getting tested for COVID, and you know, feeling like you got to be in a hazmat suit and that type deal. But you know what? It was a blessing, and it's something that I'm always gonna look at my child and be like, you know what? She was that 2020 baby that just came at the perfect time. But the crazy part was she was born on July 31st, which was our first day of fall camp. So I actually missed the first day of fall camp, but was able to make it back to the second day, so that part was good.
Man, I just can't imagine. Like you said, you have to get tested here. You can't go in. You can't do this, and you know, and as a parent, and we've all been there. But you're young. But did that thought cross your mind that, hey, you know, I've got a baby in here, and you know, we got to figure out how not to get this COVID thing, and you're around guys every day. I mean, that had to be really strange.
You know what? It was, but the number one deal is all the protocols that are in place here were really good, and it protected us. You know, we kind of have, you know, our building is our own little bubble here, which is really good, and our guys have done a phenomenal job of taking care of each other. And you know, my wife actually, she worked at the hospital.
Okay.
So her situation was a little bit just like mine in terms of she had her own, you know, protective bubble there at the hospital, and you know, it was kind of nerve-wracking at first because you're scared as a parent, and you're like, I don't want to bring it home, and she don't want to bring it home. But you know, as much testing that we're doing and the precautions that we're doing, you feel a lot more comfortable with it every day.
And mom and baby are fine now? Everything's good?
Mom and baby are fine. Baby is definitely maturing very, very quickly. I think that part is getting on mama's nerves because she wants to be an independent child right now, and mama wants her to be a baby, but they're doing good.
Yeah, that's got to be tough as a football coach too, because you've got so many hours you've got to spend, you know, doing football, and that's hard on mama too, isn't it?
You know what it is, and she's been phenomenal in terms of, you know, taking care of the baby and also taking care of me too. But it's been good, and you know, I get my time in as much as I can, even if that means I have to get up early in the morning and just sit there and play with her. She figures out when Daddy gets home very quickly. She thinks it's playtime, so she gets wide awake when I get home at night or early in the morning.
Oh, that's really a neat story, because that brings me back when I used to wake my little baby up when I get home at 11:30 midnight. I'd shake the crib a little bit, wake him up, and play with him for a while. That didn't sit well with mama, but I still did it.
And as soon as I walk by the crib, for some reason she wakes up. I'm like, you must smell me when I walk in the door or something.
Wow, after some of those practices, maybe she does, right?
Yeah, no question about that.
Darrell Sims is our guest on this Monday Talking Pirate Football. We're going to talk about the individual running backs coming up in just a bit, and we're going to talk about that South Florida defense, kind of get you ready for that. But how are the guys at practice Sunday? Because usually, you know, the players are the ones that bounce back after a loss quicker than anybody else does.
They were flying around yesterday at practice. They did a really good job of being in tune and enthused, and they played fast yesterday, which was phenomenal. And that's the number one deal about our guys is they're resilient, and they bounce back each week. We always have that mentality that you got to wipe it clean each week and start over, because each week is a week of its own that brings on a whole total different life of its own. So they were really good yesterday in practice.
How about as far as the injuries go, and anybody really? Because of HIPAA, obviously you can't say specifically players, but as a whole for the football team, do you think everybody's in pretty good shape?
Yeah, everybody's in pretty good shape. So we're blessed from that standpoint. So we'll continue to keep knocking on wood, but we're in good shape.
As a coach, do you look at the COVID report every day and kind of like hold your breath until you see everybody from the running back room is clear?
No doubt about that. Every single day.
Every day, and that's something that's so different in 2020 as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. 2020 is it's a totally different year that nobody can, no coach in America you could ever plan for, because there's no manual that you can read on how to handle a pandemic. So it's just a different time period.
I saw something on social media the other day, and it said, someone said we're in the fourth quarter of 2020. I hope we're playing the Falcons, which was a real cut. The Falcons.
That's a really good analogy. I seen somebody say something about Jumanji as well, the old television show Jumanji.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Maybe somebody new need to scream Jumanji and get us out of 2020.
Yeah, somebody screaming as loud as you can if it gets us out of 2020. But really, when you think about it, did you go through days in the spring, Coach, where you thought, hey, we're not going to have a football season?
You know what? I didn't even let that thought cross into my mind.
That's good.
The thing about it, we just continue to be positive and continue to keep working with our guys and educating our guys. Even when they weren't here, just constantly being on the telephone with our guys and talking to them and educating them and, continue to recruit. Those are the biggest deals as well. But you always have to stay positive, because at the end of the day, we didn't know what was going to happen. But you had to prepare every single day like you were getting ready to go into a season, because you never knew. At the end of the day, you knew you was going to play. You didn't know you was going to play, but you had to be ready when their number was called.
I'm sure you got friends in the coaching business all over. Do you talk to some of those guys and just kind of take notes of how they've handled the COVID and how they've handled things as well?
You know what? Yes, just because, it's all new for all of us, and we're just bouncing ideas and bouncing notes off of each other. So definitely always picking people's brains in terms of how to handle this situation, what things we can learn from, what things we can do better, and, just always gaining knowledge.
Has it been frustrating at times because through contact tracing you might lose a guy or two who never test positive, never has any symptoms, but just because of the way this thing is written out with contact tracing, you might lose a player, or you might lose a lineman that blocks for some of your running backs or something like that?
You know what? It doesn't get frustrating just because of being safe. And those protocols have been put in place by the medical team here. So when those protocols are in place and it has the safety and the health of the student athlete and of the coaching staff and the support staff, those are the rules and regulations we got to abide by. As long as everybody's safe and healthy, those are the deals that we get done.
Do you ever think you'll get used to that big old Q-tip going in your nose to test for the COVID?
No.
I mean, that's one of the most awkward things you have to go through, isn't it?
You know what it is? It's more uncomfortable than it is painful.
Right.
Just because nothing is designed to go into your nose. So the uncomfortable part of it, that's the thing that you can never get used to.
Oh, yeah. And the fact is, like I've told this before, I've only been tested once and it was negative. But you guys get tested now 3 times a week, right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Correct.
That's got it. Do you wake up in the morning and go, oh, it's coming again, get ready?
You know what? I've become numb to it now, just because you done had it so many times that it's like, okay, it's just game time again. Let's go get it done. 30 seconds and we out of there.
There you go. 30 seconds and get out of there. Darrell Sims, he is our guest today on the Brian Bailey Show. We'll take a commercial break right now. We'll come back. We'll take a look at his running back room and talk about some of those players, maybe some of the players for the future. Back with more on the Brian Bailey Show after this.
This is Jeff Charles, and this is a Pirate Radio Sports Break presented by Ron Ayers Motorsports. Highway 11 north of the airport in Greenville, your home for Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Yamaha motorcycles. The AP Top 25 is out. Clemson remains number 1, Alabama 2, Georgia 3, Florida is 4th, North Carolina number 8, AAC member Cincinnati has moved up to number 11, fellow American member SMU is number 18, Virginia Tech number 19. UCF has dropped out of the top 25 after being upset by Tulsa, ending the night's 21-game home win streak. Lincoln Riley's Oklahoma Sooners have dropped out of the poll for the first time since September of 2016. The Pirates are on the road again this Saturday in an AAC battle with USF in Tampa. ECU lost to Georgia State 49-29 on Saturday in Atlanta. UCF lost to Cincinnati 28-7. The Bulls are 1-2. The Pirates are 0-2. Kickoff time is 7 o'clock Saturday night at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break.
I'm Michael Vaughn with East Coast Grading and Utilities. Many of you know my dad, David Vaughn, and his work in putting in subdivisions all over Pirate Nation. But East Coast Grading and Utilities is not just for those type of big jobs. We're here for the homeowners. Whether it's concrete, driveways, hauling rock, or sand, whatever you need, East Coast Grading and Utilities can get the job done. Call us at 252-531-7494 or check us out on Facebook at East Coast Grading and Utilities.
The Rick House is Eastern North Carolina's premier American-styled restaurant and bar. Join us at the Rick House for mouth-watering steaks and the best burgers around. Check out the spicy mahi risotto or the bourbon pecan salmon. Wednesday night is date night. 2 salads, an appetizer, a bottle of wine, 2 entrees, and a dessert for just $55. Thursday is ladies' night with $5 martinis and special apps. The Rick House, American Provisions and Spirits, 710 Red Banks Road beside the bowling alley in Greenville. The Rick House.
2020 certainly hasn't been the year many of us were hoping for, but one thing has stayed the same. I'm Tim Sutton with Greenville Auto World, and our commitment to our customers has never wavered. Let Greenville Auto World show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Greenville. We believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right leads to satisfied repeat buyers. Your vehicle is a big investment, and our customers trust us to keep them up and running with outstanding service and value. With Greenville Auto World, cross from Hardee's at Bells Fork.
It's bow time.
You've heard folks say, don't call it a comeback. But the Pork Chop Griller is back at Bojangles, and we don't like to beat around the bush. Because we're talking about a huge, hefty pork chop in all its tender, marinated chili lime glory, served up proud in a fluffy buttermilk biscuit. So we say go ahead, call it a comeback. Pork Chop Grillers are back, only at Bojangles.
It's bow time.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back on this Monday. We're talking Pirate football, East Carolina and the Bulls of South Florida. 7 o'clock kickoff this Saturday night from Raymond James Stadium. And Darrell Sims is the running back coach at East Carolina. He joins us tonight. Coach, guys really get jacked up about playing in an NFL stadium, don't they?
You know what they do, because it's a lifelong dream of theirs. You know, when you start playing football in Little League and Pop Warner, you always want to get to the National Football League. So anytime you get an opportunity to play on a National Football League stadium in grass, they love that opportunity.
All right, let's go into running back room and let's talk about some of these guys and maybe give us a little synopsis of what you look for in their running style. We've had 2 games to watch some of these guys, but really you see them on a day-to-day basis. Let's start with your more experienced runner in Darius Penix. And I think, and Coach Houston said it earlier, you know, he dropped a few pounds and he's gotten quicker with his feet, and you can see that, can't you?
You can. You know, Darius is a very, very hard worker and has done a really good job in this off season in terms of working hard and changing his body structure, which is you can tell it. You know, he's came out and is a lot more explosive and quicker from a footwork standpoint, and he's still strong as an ox like he's always been, but you can just tell in his body the way he moves now that he's a lot faster.
How hard is it for a player like Penix to drop a few pounds because he's working so hard and he wants to turn all that into muscle, obviously, but is that hard? Does Big John have to do something different with that?
You know what? The plan that Big John puts in place for these guys is really, really good. It's not hard. It's just, the mindset of each guy. And Darius has that mindset that he wants to be the very best that he can. And he works hard at that daily. It's something, special about him that he's always looking for ways to get better and improve. And he always sets a goal for himself. And if he sets his mind to it, he's going to find a way to get it done. And he's doing that on a consistent basis.
Would you just love to run right between the tackles and send Penix right through there, maybe with a fullback in front of him and just really run it downhill?
You know what? In today's day and age, you got to be multiple and you got to attack every gap that the defense gives you. So whatever gap is open, that's the one we're going to take. But, it's at times that we like to get downhill and physical and pull a lead blocker in the front and let him go to work. So those are always good times as well.
What kind of guy is Penix off the field? Because he kind of flashes that smile every once in a while, and you see that he looks like he really likes his teammates.
You know what, a jokester. And he's always laughing and, keeping the guys loose and upbeat. And Darius is a really good person. And he enjoys life. And, he always got that smile on his face, even if he's having a bad day. But he's a really good person to be around, a really good leader in our room, and I'm lucky to have him.
Chase Hayden had that fumble in his first carry back on the first game against UCF. And then he got back in the game and really made some things happen. And I thought it was important to get him back out there, wasn't it?
You know what? Everybody's going to have, those situations sometimes to where you don't like for the ball to hit the ground, but when it does, give them an opportunity to redeem themselves. And he came back in the game and done a good job and, protected the ball well and, continued to get better in terms of pass protection. And so he did a really good job of bouncing back.
What's his strength as far as a running back is concerned?
You know what? Chase has a really good feel for the running game, whether it's inside zone or outside zone or gap schemes. He has a really good feel for it and good patience. Has really good vision, good footwork. You can tell, his dad was an NFL running back, so he has those same dynamics, and you can tell that he was, coached up very well by his dad. He does a good job of being able to see things and anticipate things before they happen, and then always finding a way to, not have a negative play turn into a bad play, but always getting us back to the line of scrimmage or getting us 1 to 2 yards that could have been a loss of 1.
And we hear so much about the transfer portal these days and guys, leaving at the drop of a hat. He transfers in. Sometimes those transfers, it takes a while for those guys to get acclimated, doesn't it?
You know what it does, just because, especially in today's day and age, coming in right now during a pandemic, not having a full summer to be around your teammates and get to learn them and, get adjusted to the town and the city. But he did a good job of coming in and making himself a part of his team and opening up his heart to the team, and the team welcomed him in open arms, and he's done a really good job since he's been here.
How hard was it for a guy like Chase Hayden to come in during a pandemic and, coming here, but then not being able to work out, not being able to get with the team? You're in a brand new city. That had to be difficult.
You know what? If I was in his shoes, I would look at it as being difficult, but he didn't complain one time. As soon as he got here, he went to work and put the time in and, continued to grind in terms of learning the playbook and learning the offense and learning how we practice from a practice tempo standpoint. So he didn't complain. He just went to work.
And he seems to be a type of running back. He's a little different than Penix, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little bit different. He got a different style than Penix does. Penix he wants to be a physical guy, but also can be a guy that, makes a guy miss in the open field, and Chase is a little bit more elusive. They all bring different things to the table. That's what's really good about a room is, you just don't have a cookie-cutter standpoint in terms of this running back can do this running back can do this. They all bring something different to the table, which is really good.
Then you got a couple of young running backs. Let's talk about Rajay Harris first, because he's had some flashes.
You know what, Rajay has, and he's going to be a really, really good player for the Pirates, and we're blessed that we have him here. His deal is he came from a really good high school program at Burns High School down in South Carolina, and has done a good job in terms of coming in here, getting acclimated to the college level. And to be honest with you, the stage hasn't been too big for him. When he gets his opportunities, he makes the most of them. And I've been really pleased with him in terms of his mental approach, his work ethic, and how he goes about doing everything.
You talk about the stage. A lot of times those guys, especially when they're young, they get out and there's 40,000 fans in the stands or 45 or whatever. And this year, that's been different too, hasn't it?
It has been. It has been. Not being able to see the purple and gold in the stadium has been different, and we can't wait until we get the Pirate Nation back inside this stadium and it's rocking and rolling.
What makes Rajay Harris different?
You know what? Rajay is, when people look at him and they see that he's a big back, they think he can't run or he don't have good feet. Rajay has really good feet, and he has deceptive speed. If you give that sucker a step, he's going to end up housing it on you. You know, that's the number one deal is he can run with power, he can run with speed, he has good vision, he has really good hands out of the backfield. He's just a really good young player that is hungry, and every day he wants to get better and better and wants to learn more and more.
How do young guys like that handle a loss, like the Georgia State game? You know, when obviously they're frustrated too, but older guys, it seems to me, can maybe bounce back a little better. But younger guys, this is their first real taste of it.
You know what? The way that the younger guys here handle it is they want to get better, and they want to ask, well, Coach, what can I improve on to get better from, you know, this situation that I was in here? They always want to know the ways to get better, and what's the ways that we can avoid certain situations of, you know, not having a negative play here, and how can I make this good play I had into a better play? So they always just want to look for ways to get better.
Another one of your young running backs is Keaton Mitchell. Talk about him a little bit.
The jetpack, you know, Keaton, you know, I feel like he got a doggone rocket attached to him, because if he sees one little crease of daylight, it's 88 and out the gate. Keaton is another one that is a really hard worker, has done a really good job since he's been. He always has a smile on his face, just like Rajay does, and he's a hard worker. He came from a program in the state of Georgia to where they won 5 consecutive state championships, and he was a part of 4 of those. And you know, he's a kid that carried a heavy load in high school, and the stage is not too big for him. You know, that's the thing that's always stood out to us, and we knew how dynamic he was with the ball in his hands. The thing that stands out the most is his toughness and his physicality when he wants to step up in there and lead block on a run scheme or pick up a blitz in the pass protection. You know, those are the things. He's tough and he's physical. You know, he got that little man syndrome because, you know, his whole life people always looked at him as the little short guy that can run, but that sucker is physical now.
That's good to have, especially in that running back position. Darrell Sims is the running back coach at East Carolina. We'll take another commercial break. We'll come back. We'll start previewing the South Florida game. The Pirates going for their first win of the year in Tampa coming up on Saturday. Back with more on this Monday on The Brian Bailey Show right after this.
If you are push mowing your yard using an inefficient lawn tractor, or your current zero-turn spends more time in the shop than mowing your grass, it's time you look at a Hustler zero-turn lawnmower. Residential mowers from Hustler are built like tanks and drive like sports cars. All Hustler mowers have fabricated, welded steel decks. Don't settle on cheap units with flimsy stamped decks from big box stores. Come see Ron Ayers Motorsports. It will guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Find us at Ron Ayers Motorsports, Highway 11, north of the airport in Greenville.
Hey Pirate fans, the Papa John's menu has grown again with the all-new grilled buffalo chicken papadilla. The papadillas are part sandwich, part pizza, and are only $6. Choose from the all-new grilled buffalo chicken, Philly cheesesteak, Italian, pepperoni meatball, and barbecue chicken and bacon, all for only $6 each. Also, for a limited time, get any large 5-topping pizza for only $13.99. Place your order today online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, the official pizza of the ECU Pirates.
Over 32 years ago, the Ronald McDonald House of Eastern North Carolina opened its doors as a place to help families stay together and close to the care they need when they have a sick child. With the addition of a second Ronald McDonald House inside the Maynard Children's Hospital, our need to serve is greater than ever as the medical community flourishes. Help us expand our mission of keeping families close as we grow to meet that need. You can show your support by making a donation to the Ronald McDonald House. Visit our website today at rmhenc.org for more information. Thank you for your support.
UBE and PirateWear.com are proud to offer the Pirate Nation its largest inventory ever. Brand new Adidas is arriving daily, along with Under Armour, Columbia, and Russell Athletic. UBE is loaded with cargo, and new items are being added daily to PirateWear.com. Be sure to check out our children's store, The Crow's Nest, for all of your young pirates. UBE and PirateWear.com, an ECU tradition for 50 years. Go Pirates!
premier custom builder in eastern North Carolina. With Blackwood and Mills Creek in Greenville, Dalton's Cove in Farmville, and Belmar in Ayden, these are just a few of the developments featuring BMS Builders Homes. They can build the home of your dreams. Just ask Dr. Dennis Ross in Greenville or East Carolina football coach Mike Houston. They built their homes, and they can build yours as well. BMS Builders. Give them a call at 916-1578 for BMS Builders.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back on this Monday. We continue on with Darrell Sims. He is the East Carolina running back coach as the Pirates get set to take on South Florida and the Bulls. Coach, are there any other players, we mentioned for the running backs, but who else is in that room and who else may contribute down the line?
You had Demetrius Mooney in the room as well as Trace Christian, two guys that are heavy contributors for us on special teams. In this day and age, especially right now in the COVID virus, everybody has to be ready to play. And those two guys have done a good job in terms of preparing themselves every day in practice and continue to push those other guys. The biggest deal right now in our room is we have so much competition that you always got to bring your A game every single day, which is phenomenal because competition breeds success. And you never can allow guys to get complacent because they know in our room, if we got a guy that hits a big play, the next guy that goes in, he wants to do the exact same thing and hit another big play. So, those guys are thriving off each other and loving on each other and competing with one another, which has been good. And everybody in that room has elevated their game to another level, which is really good.
Demetrius was on my list, certainly from last year, and a different part of my list because I was putting the running backs right now. And he's been banged up a little bit, hasn't he? Is he getting better?
He's getting better, and, he did a good job for us last week. He played in the game for us on kickoff return and did a really good job for us, and he just continued. He got a really good attitude, and he's going to do whatever you ask him to do to help the team win, so that has been phenomenal.
Tyler Snead registered 237 all-purpose yards, 31 rushing, 111 receiving, 86 on kickoff returns, 9 on a punt return. Scored his first career rushing touchdown on that fake field goal. What kind of guy is Tyler Snead to have on this football team?
Snead is a really good person to have on this team. He's a really good person, number one. He's a really good football player, number two. A hard worker. We always call him the pace setter in terms of how we're practicing in practice because he's going to go hard every single snap that he's in, and it's really good because those young guys are learning and seeing. Anytime you have freshmen come in from high school, and they're looking at the older guys in every single group practice and how they practice and their practice habits and how they take care of their bodies off the field has been good, and Snead is a really good example to follow.
And he's fun to watch, and he's so little out there running around, but he's getting bigger. I mean, he's put some muscle on that body, hasn't he?
He definitely has.
When you look at South Florida on tape, can you break it down a little bit about what you're looking at as far as the X's and O's of what they present defensively and what this football team can do? Because obviously, you guys are going to try to run the football again. What do you see from USF?
USF is a really good team. When you sit up here and you look at them on tape, well coached. I know this is Coach Scott's first year coming in here and bringing his coaching staff in here as a first year, and you can tell that they'll continue to get better from game 1 to game 2 to game 3. Defensively, what they present, they got some guys with a lot of experience returning. A lot of their back-end players, the secondary returns that we had an opportunity to play against last year, different scheme than what they did last year, of course, with having a new defensive coordinator. But, they're another 3-down team that we have to get ready for this week and have good team speed on the defensive side of the football, and they want to be physical on that side as well. They play hard. They play for 4 quarters, which is a thing that stands out to you on tape. And, our guys, number one deal we're going to do, we're going to come out here and get better this week, and we're going to go down to South Florida and, go out here and play hard and practice fast.
South Florida knocked off the Citadel to open up their season, and then after that they had to go to Notre Dame, and they pretty much took it on the chin against Notre Dame. I thought they played Cincinnati pretty tough, fell 28-7. In that game, South Florida tied a school record throwing 5 interceptions, so they kind of turned the football over and kind of took themselves out of the game, didn't they?
You know what they did? That's a stat that kind of jumps off when you look at it, is the turnovers in that game, period, on both sides, Cincinnati and South Florida. Those are things that jump out to you on tape. And but they, like you said, they went in and played a good Citadel football team and played Notre Dame and played Cincinnati tough. So you can tell this is a team that's getting better every week.
Where do you guys stand right now as far as your game plan? Or is Monday a day where you're building the game plan and you start implementing it on Tuesday, or has that already been done? What's it look like there?
Monday is the day that we come in and get together and we build a game plan. We get together as a staff and we get around and watch the film and talk scheme and throw out ideas together, and that's kind of the day that all the minds get to working together. So that's a really good day. A lot of funny jokes from DK on Mondays as well.
I tell you, I'm sure he was shaking his head after Saturday. When you get together, is it kind of frustrating? You look at the tape and you see one play here, one play there, that it just because football is the magical sport that 11 guys have to be on the same page, and if they're not, that's when you get a bust here, a bust there. But when you look at that tape, is it kind of like we just do this little thing here or this little thing here? I mean, is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, and that's exactly what you're saying. And, as a football coach, you always want to be perfect in every aspect. So, yeah, you get frustrated from time to time, but that's the reason why they call you coach. So that you can go out here and coach these guys up every single day and always try to find room to improve and things to get better at. And, that's the number one deal that we try to do every day.
All right, Coach, what's your day like on a Monday, and then compare that to a practice day?
Mondays for us is, we get in, we start to look at, the opponent that we're getting ready to face. So we'll do that all day long up until about lunchtime. And then we'll come back in after lunch and continue to get right back to that process again. And that'll continue on into the evening. And then on a practice day, we come back in that morning and we'll go back through our thoughts and our ideas that we've had from the day before and the night before. Get ready for practice that afternoon. And then we get out there on the practice field and it's go time, starting to put the plan in place then.
Yeah, it's go time. And the season, when we talk about here all the time how it flies by, and a season like today or this year in 2020, it's really going to fly by because you lose so many of those games and you only have a handful that you get a chance to play. So I would say that it's really going to fly by, isn't it?
You know what? I was talking to Coach Mines this morning, and I said, you know what? It's October already.
Yeah.
So it's already, the season is already flying by. And, a lot of times during the seasons in the past, that's kind of the way it goes. You can blink your eye, and you're in October before you know it. And I think this season is no different.
Coach Sims, what are you guys going to really stress at practice today and tomorrow? I know those are your two work days, your heavy work days during the week. But what do you really stress from that running game today and tomorrow?
The number one deal that we really stress is, especially from a running back standpoint, is just going out here and trusting your reads and trusting your eyes, and just being consistent. And it's always good pad level in terms of running behind your pass and that type deal, but doing the little things that make a play successful from a running back standpoint in terms of your stance and start, your eyes and your footwork, and just making sure that your eyes are in the correct gap in the correct spot. And after that, you let your God-given ability take over. But taking care of your job and doing your job on each given play and make sure that you're living up to the expectations that we have for you, to the coaching staff, and that you have for yourself.
Do you see that South Florida line? I mean, do you see where the Pirate offensive line can penetrate, can make some holes this week?
Oh, no doubt about it. Yes, sir. Definitely do.
Yeah, it's one of those situations when you're back in conference, and that's really when you want to get back in there and pick up that first victory, because you're in American Athletic Conference play, and really this is a matchup of two teams that are both, as I told Coach Houston earlier today, two teams that are trying to find their identity on offense right now. Both teams, right?
You know what? When you get into American Conference play, anytime it's always a sense of urgency. From you see it from the coaching staff, you see it from the kids, and you see the energy and enthusiasm. So every single game, especially from an American Conference standpoint, it's always go time, and it's always time to go put your best foot forward. And you don't have to play for 4 quarters. We always tell our guys, buckle both of your chin straps and go play for 4 quarters, because it's going to be a doggone war on both sides.
The depth chart comes out on Tuesdays, but in your room, in the running back room, do you look at guys Wednesday, Thursday, maybe into Friday as far as who's going to carry the ball when, who's going to get the most carries, that kind of thing? Because right now you've pretty much got a running back by committee, right?
You know what? Every single day is a competition day for us. All the way up into the walkthroughs, it's always a competition. So, which is good, because if you got guys that's competing against each other, you're always striving to be better than the day before. So that part is good. So the competition and the depth chart, we always, the depth chart situation, that doesn't matter. You know, what matters is the competition that goes into practice every single day. And then once we get into the game, letting your work and letting the process that you put in during the week take over. And that's how we go about it.
Wrapping things up with Darrell Sims. He's the running back coach at East Carolina. And, Coach, before we let you go, how do you like Greenville so far? How do you like being in East Carolina?
Greenville has been really good. The funny part about coming to Greenville was in 2013 when I took the job at Western Carolina. This was my recruiting area. So it's funny because I always tell people God always has a preview of places that you're getting ready to go. So when I came out here in 2013, I learned where RJ's was. So that used to be my go-to spot. Is I always go to RJ's and get some barbecue chicken and macaroni.
Wow.
But I used to just drive around when I used to recruit this area, and I could see what made this place special. I could see the passion in the fan base, and then having an opportunity to come here and be a part of this program, you can see, you know, this is a passionate fan base that cares about football. It's a really good community, and people will do anything they can to help you. So that part has been good.
What's your recruiting base now?
My recruiting base now is I have from the Midlands in South Carolina to the upstate of South Carolina. I have the metro Atlanta area in the western part of North Carolina. And then I have Dallas, Texas as well. So those are my recruiting areas now.
Well, Dallas, Texas could use a player that can tackle because the Cowboys can't tackle anybody right now.
You know what? I'm not even going to get on them because two reasons. Number one, that's Coach Houston's team. Number two, one of my best friends, coaches on the staff for the Cowboys. I'm not even going to talk about them boys, right?
I'll tell you what, they leave a little bit to be desired. Darrell Sims wrapping things up with Coach. Final thought, Coach, the keys to a victory against South Florida. What are you looking at?
Protect the football, number one.
Yep.
Just go out here and protect the football, number one. Be really sound in everything that we do. Play really good in special teams and make the plays when they're there to be made.
All right, Darrell Sims, he's the running back coach at East Carolina. Thanks so much for spending so much time with us today, Coach. Certainly appreciate it. Certainly enjoyed the conversation, and look forward to watching you guys play against South Florida this week.
I appreciate you, Brian. Anything we can do to help, just let us know.
Will do. Thanks so much, Darrell Sims, the running back coach at East Carolina under Mike Houston and Pirate Football. Back to wrap things up on this edition of The Brian Bailey Show for you. That's coming up after this.
Can't make it to the game? Relax. Bostic Sugg Furniture can provide you with the best seats in the house. We have the area's largest selection of Lazy Boy motion furniture in stock and ready to go. Lazy Boy recliners, reclining sofas, love seats, and reclining sectionals in hundreds of colors, styles, fabrics, and leather, all at a very comfortable price. Remember, when it comes to Lazy Boy motion furniture, we're your ticket to the best seats in the house. Bostic Sugg Furniture in Greenville.
Hi, I'm Ken Hagler of Taft and Hagler. We're proud to be sponsors of the Brian Bailey Show and the Pirate Nation on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. If you've been injured on the job or due to someone else's negligence in an automobile collision, call us at 752-2000 for a free consultation with experienced professionals who care. Go Pirates!
Got big dreams for your small business? You're not alone. The Gavigan Agency Insurance Services is a growing business too. That's why they work with Nationwide, the #1 small total business insurer in the U.S. Nationwide can help protect and grow your business so you can focus on making your small business dreams come true. Give the Gavigan Agency Insurance Services a call today at 252-756-1400. Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
When you don't have time to go to lunch, let Jimmy John's deliver lunch to you. With Jimmy John's, we can get a freaky fresh sandwich to you freaky fast. Click to order at jimmyjohns.com. Dinner's great. It's one of your top 3 favorite meals. You just don't want to have to make it. Well, with Jimmy John's, you don't have to. Whether you live in a sandwich delivery zone or head into the store, you can always get a freaky fresh sandwich. Click to order at jimmyjohns.com.
There have been many changes in the automotive world. At Phelps Chevrolet, the Phelps boys are here to take care of you. Mike, Daryl, and 4 of Mr. Phelps' grandsons, Wade, West, Allen, and Clay. You see, things at Phelps remain the same. The Phelps team has served Eastern North Carolina for over 50 years. We make your visit easy and fun. We are your neighbors, and that's what neighbors do. Phelps Chevrolet in Greenville. Like Mr. Phelps' great-granddaughter says, come in and get you one.
Chico's Mexican Restaurant in downtown Greenville invites you to party on the patio. Chico's Outside Patio is the perfect place to get all your amigos together for some Mexican food and fun. Call Chico's now to make a reservation for any large or small fiesta with all of your amigos. For Mexican food and fun, it's got to be Chico's Mexican Restaurant in downtown Greenville and online at chicosrestaurant.com. Chico's, where the fiesta never ends.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back to our show as we wrap things up on this edition of The Brian Bailey Show. A couple of other notes from the game the other day. How about the game that Blake Prohl had? A career-high 11 passes. He caught for 83 yards. Now has at least one reception in 17 straight games dating back to October of 18. And he scored that nifty little touchdown on the block punt. Man, that takes a lot of talent to block a punt and then to scoop it and score it like he did. But he did a nice job with that. That was a great bright spot to otherwise dismal day for East Carolina, falling 49-29 to the Panthers of Georgia State. The other bright spot happened right out of the gate. Warren Saban picked off his first career pass and returned it 28 yards. He was sitting on the route. I mean, that was as easy as it gets, and he scores the touchdown. And that was just a neat defensive play, and you really thought that, hey, when you jump out in front like that the Pirates had a chance to have a really big day and to go on for a win. Didn't happen like that because the Pirates really struggled running the football, and they're trying to right that ship this week, and they really struggled protecting Holton Ahlers as well. Ahlers now over 6,200 total yards as a starter, 29 of 50 for 242 yards and 3 picks in that game against Georgia State. And for his career, he's 434 of 784 for 5,629 yards, 36 touchdowns, and he has had 17 interceptions, but he didn't get a lot of time at all as the offensive line has some injuries they're working with, has some young players they're working with, and they're really trying to get that thing figured out. And you know Steve Shankweiler, one of the best coaches around, that they will get that thing done, but it's struggling as we speak. The other star of the game, the other day, obviously, and we talked about that with Darrell Sims, was Tyler Snead, who had 237 all-purpose yards, 31 rushing, 111 receiving, 86 on kickoff returns, and 9 yards on punt returns, and he scored his first career rushing touchdown on that fake field goal, which opened up like the Red Sea, didn't it? I mean, they got one block and outside, one block inside, and Tyler Snead snuck through, and he was absolutely gone. And the special teams really got the Pirates back in the football game, and they had a chance. I mean, really, you look at the game, and after all the bad things that happened to them, they got back in the game and had a chance near the end, but couldn't quite pull it off. So they will look to try to right the ship this week against the Bulls of South Florida. Jake Verity moved into second place on East Carolina's all-time scoring list, that 40-yard field goal rather than into the second quarter. He is now 6 shy of the school records. He'll be working on that coming up as we continue on. Pirates and the Bulls of South Florida, 7 o'clock kickoff. Pirate radio coverage kicks off at 3 o'clock with the award-winning Bud Light pregame tailgate. I don't know what award you guys have won, but you should win one, because you do a great job with that. And of course, back here with the fifth quarter after the game to take your calls and your comments. 49-29, the Pirates fall to Georgia State. East Carolina at 0-2 on the year, and South Florida comes into this game at 1-2. I want to thank Darrell Sims for being with us today, the running back coach at East Carolina. I'll see you back here next Monday for another edition of The Brian Bailey Show. Have a great week, everybody.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, brought to you by
Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Angus Grill, Gavigan Insurance, BMS Builders, The Rick House, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft and Hagler, and by Tiebreakers.
Join us next time for another edition of The Brian Bailey Show, exclusively on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.